This is Pascal for Vanguard Global LLC YouTube channel, and I'm here to talk to you just a real quick second about what's going on in the world financially. And so we're fucked as the U.S. citizens and as a country. So we have a bunch of WEIs, which is white entitled, incompetent motherfuckers running shit. And honestly, Donald Trump is the leader of the stupidest group of motherfuckers that have ever been in the White House or running this country in any way, shape, or form. So anyways, that's my take on it. You can say what you think. I'm dead set on that belief because all I do is study, read, listen, and see what's happening in our world in general, and in particular my country, the USA. And I have just found that, George W. Bush was the first dumb motherfucker that was ever put into the White House. And, just at least he had competent people around him. George W. Bush, the complete POS, right? So, but this Donald Trump motherfucker is, it just pisses me off when I think about how ignorant he is and how racist Americans are to vote in somebody so ignorant just because he's a fat, bloated, white piece of shit. And that's what they like about him, is he's a fat, bloated, white piece of shit. And I think he reminds them of the old white, fat, racist piece of shits back in the 1950s and so on and so forth. And actually going back to the early 1600s, 1800s, 1700s, whatever. We are fucked as a country, and he's a coward. He is every negative thing you can possibly think of. That's what that fat fuck is. And honestly, the world no longer respects the U.S. And so me as a black man living in this country, I've always thought to myself, my father did 27 years in the Air Force, and one of the things he said to us, I have 6 brothers, is that he didn't really want any of us going into the military. He served enough for all of us with his 27 years in the U.S. Air Force. And he said because he dealt with a lot of racism. He did the whole Vietnam thing. I remember my mother saying when he came back from Vietnam, he was a different dude. He was just a different guy, And my father was like, he was like a hell of a provider for us. He was just a really good guy, you know what I mean? But he was mean as shit. He was mean as shit. And according to my mother, a lot of that came from his stint in Vietnam. So who in the fuck knows, to be honest with you. So sorry about all the cussing, but I cuss a lot just in general. So it just is what it is. But you all, I'm just going to say to all of my fellow white Americans and, Mexican brothers and sisters, whoever you are in this country, and you are an American citizen, you, we, me, all of us are screwed as long as this asshole is in office. It's just nothing else that can be said. Well, there's a lot that can be said, but there's not a whole lot else that can be said. He's going to get us into a war, right? I believe in my heart of hearts that he's going to get us into war. And I believe that because every single day I listen, read, and research what's happening here in this country and around the world. And so now the U.S. is literally the most hated country on the planet. So you can say whatever you want about Putin, Russia, Iran, pick a country. It doesn't even matter. The U.S. is by far the most hated country on the country in the world, and we are also screwing ourselves financially. And in all earnest, we are going to go into recession. So you have all these top indicators that are saying, and top firms, that are saying that we have like a 70% chance of going into recession. So with that said, everybody, you need to figure out new ways of earning some extra capital that you can not just, stack away, put under the mattress or something crazy like that, but you need to be able to take those extra funds that you're making and put them into like real stuff, like buying gold, silver, whatever the case may be. You need to be able to do that and have that stuff in your home, in your personal possession. The other thing that I would suggest that you do is buy ETFs in the stock market, right? So, and basically an ETF is just a basket of funds. And so what I am saying to people that I know personally, and doing this for myself, is that, I want to buy precious metal ETFs. I want to buy anything to do with like oil, stocks, fuel, anything to do with that type of thing. And also anything, because we're on a war footing, from what I understand. We're on a war footing. And so anything to do with stocks that have to do with military conquest, Raytheon and all these other asshole companies, buying an ETF that has anything to do with that type of stuff, creating missiles and bombs and yada, yada, yada. That's also a great move. But also the other one is the so-called rare earth metals, or rare earth, whatever you want to refer to them. All that shit right there is fire, right? So one of the things that has happened that most of you, I'm sure, should know is that China was like, hey, we create 90% of the world's, or they process 90% of the world's rare earth metals that are used to create missiles, bombs, all the technology needed to go to war. They're the ones who, produce that shit. Process it, and China was like, no, we're just gonna cut you mofos off, and it's a wrap, so now we have to try to get it from other places. Oh, what's the other places? Russia. So I mean, come on now. How stupid are these people that you're gonna say we're gonna put 145% tariffs on China, and then turn around and have to put your tail between your legs like a little biatch, and then say, oh well, it's not going to be 145. We'll figure it out, and we'll blah 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 blah, which is just stuff that stupid people do because you don't have enough common sense to know the playing field before you jump off into it, right? That's like somebody saying, they're going to get on the football field or whatever and start running up and down the damn field and have no clue what the rules of the game are. And these ignorant ass people have proven that they have no clue what the rules of the game are. Donald Trump, as everybody knows, what is it, six or eight bankruptcies, and as even one of his people in his cabinet even said about him when he wasn't, on his team, said, hey, how do you fucking bankrupt a casino? You know what I mean? I mean, the casinos are rigged. Everybody knows casinos are rigged. The house always wins ultimately, right? So how do you lose at that game? How do you, as a person, get like whatever it was from his parents' trust, $100 million or something crazy like that? And how do you lose all that money? You get 100 mil or whatever the figure was, and you lose all that shit? Come on, y'all. Come on. I mean, you could take a homeless person, give them 100 mil, and they'd probably do as good as this idiot that's in the White House currently. So obviously these are just my opinions, okay? But I will say to you that my opinions are heavily researched. And so I want you to really understand a couple of things. If you don't like or believe in anything else that I'm saying to you, please, for your own benefit and your own edification, check into ETFs. I think they're going to be very important to you. Check into purchasing some precious metals. Look into getting ETFs that have to do with precious metals, or ETFs that have to do with oil and all that kind of stuff, because some funk is going to be going down and oil prices are going to go bananas, right? And so that and the rare earths, oh my God. The rare earths, electric cars can't be made without rare earths. Missiles, bombs, and technology that have to do with war cannot be made without rare earth, right? So rare earth is like uber important, right? So think to yourself, what things you can do to generate some extra capital so that you can start buying these ETFs. And that's kind of like a wrap, y'all. I just wanted to say that to you, but I wish everybody well. Take care.